In the forgotten folds of the Appalachians, where the mist hangs low and secrets cling to the trees like moss, there was a boy named Carrick Purvis, but the world would come to know him as Smoke Holler. Born to Mary Elizabeth and Elijah Purvis, Carrick's first breath was drawn in a one-room shack nestled deep in the hollers. His father, Elijah, was an alcoholic and a gambler, a man who could vanish for weeks chasing whiskey and cards. And his mother, she was a waitress by day, a working woman by night, doing what she had to do to keep the boy fed while his father drank their future away. Love was scarce. Carrick was more shadow than sun, just a quiet pair of eyes in the corner. The only warmth he ever felt from his mother came the first time their eyes met, and never again. But Carrick was smart. He taught himself to read and write by stealing books and newspapers from the men who visited his mother. Words became his escape. The world beyond the holler opened up through stolen pages. When he was just 8 years old, Carrick's world shattered. He was playing upstairs when the knock came at the door. As he crept around the corner, he saw his father answer and watched a bullet blow the back of Elijah's head clean off. The killer spoke only 2 words: debt paid. After that, Mary Elizabeth crumbled. She drank herself into a silent oblivion, and one morning she just didn't wake up. Carrick was 9, alone, forgotten. But the boy didn't die. He learned to live on the streets. He watched every con man and hustler that passed through, mimicked their talk, their walk, their tales. He became a ghost in the game, always watching, always learning. By 13, he found his father's old weed stash and lit up for the first time. But he didn't just smoke it, he studied it, became obsessed, started cultivating hidden patches all through the mountains, splicing, breeding, processing. And then came the supernatural strains, weed that could slow time, sharpen senses, one that could let a man mimic another's voice, face, everything. Carrick became a ghost in plain sight. He spoke nearly every language he heard, came into towns as a stranger, left with their hearts and their money. Once he even posed as a deputy and cleaned out a corrupt sheriff at poker, and then he'd vanish. He lived like that, alone, until one day, while hiding from a robbery gone wrong, he found a pup, half dead, whimpering. He patched the dog up with a healing blend, let it go, but the pup stayed, loyal. Carrick named him Pipe. Their bond, unbreakable, telepathic even. And when Carrick was in danger, Pipe would transform, stronger, faster, deadlier than any beast. Years later, Carrick joined a gang for a job. Nothing more, but during a heist, one of the gang shot a child. That was a line Carrick never crossed. He stayed, tried to save the boy, failed, and got caught. They threw him on a chain gang, broke his back on the rails, but that's where he met Li Wei, an old Chinese man jailed for blowing up a railroad to stop a corrupt judge. Wei was a genius, made bombs from pebbles, taught Carrick everything: coins that explode, blades that detonate, bullets with bite. They became like father and son, and when Wei blew the tracks wide open, they ran. Wei took him to a sacred place, Sawtooth Cave, a place of legend. There, Wei shared all he knew. One morning, he was gone, left a note. The cave is yours now, and tell your dog I'm sorry for the bite. Pipe had returned, and Carrick, He was back to being alone, but not broken. He kept on hustling, kept building. The legend of Smoke Holler grew because everyone knew he grew the best damn weed in the holler, and he carried one gun, a 6-shooter named Mercy, because sometimes mercy's all a man has left, and he had his motto: I always have two things, weed and a plan.